2012 Jeep Liberty with a 3.7. Gonna do a water pump. First thing you want to do is remove the battery. You got your 10 on the negative, and remove that one first. 10 on your positive, remove that one second. Then your battery hold down, which is a 10, which is this. You pull your battery out, pull that out. Then you need to undo your air filter. Undo the two clips, hold the top, undo the breather hose on the back side. Take the filter out. Next you need to do is remove the filter box. It has 3 of those grommet clips on the bottom. You want to pull them out, and once you get this thing out, you want to take those and you want to put them back into the holes down below. You want to put some little bit of a sill glide on them so to ease the installation of this box. And it pulls off of this tube. Then you want to remove the washer coolant tank. That has 2 screws right here, one here and one here. And then you want to remove the hose off the radiator. And then the reason why you took the box out, because there's the screw that comes in through the bottom, way down below, goes right here in that washer tank. And there's one over here, because you got to remove the battery. One down below, right here. And it's inside the horn. I also removed the horn. And those screws are all Torxes. And the size of that Torx is a 25. Okay. So you got screw here, a screw there, a screw here that's below the horn, and you got a screw here that's, you got to remove the air filter box to get to. And then you got your washer pump. You got to disconnect that connector, and you got 2 lines from the pump. When you disconnect it, it's going to be dripping fluid, so put an extra long hose on it so you don't lose all your washer solvent. Okay, then you got an 8 here for the shroud and an 8mm here for the shroud. Remove that. And then I'll have to go down below. It's for the shroud and the fan. If I want to remove it or not, I'll let you know. Okay, the fan shroud, you got your 2 screws, an 8 and an 8, and it just picks up into a channel down below. And the reason why this side's held in is because of the transcoil lines are clipped in at the bottom. And when you get it undone, then you can pull it up a little bit, and you can unplug the fan inside here, right here. Okay, those beautiful Volkswagen connectors. On those trans lines, you got a 8mm screw holding a little bracket under the shroud from the lines. See how the gap is on it now, right there? See the gap? Right there's the bracket, and there's the gap. So now you can pull this shroud up and get a better angle to unplug that fan. To unplug that fan, you need to stick a screwdriver in this direction, a small one, and push down on it, and then pull the connector off of it. Okay? Next, get your 15mm fan tool and take off your belt. You might want to take a picture or draw it how the schematic is of the belt first, though. Next you want to do is remove your belt tensioner. It's kind of a sloppy 13, so use a 1/2 inch, hammer a 1/2 inch on there and break it loose, take it off. Otherwise you can use your tool to move it out of the way so you can get access to all your bolts. Now you got access to all your bolts for your water pump, and you can remove all the 13s for that. Make sure you get a drain pan to catch all your coolant. Once you get all the water pumps bolts loose, you can pull them out. You got 3 long ones and you got 5 short ones. And then you smack the water pump on the pulley with a decent sized hammer and it comes loose. So make sure you hold on to it so it doesn't go into the radiator. And make sure you have a pan down below and catch all your fluid. And now you're ready to clean off the surface and then put your new pump on. All right, got your new water pump. I put a small bead of silicone inside there, and then I push the gasket inside there, and make sure you push it all the way down and get it inside the groove all the way. And then clean off your surface, and then get your bolts ready and push it up in there. All right, get all your water pump bolts started, snug them all up in the star pattern, and the final torque is 40 foot-pounds. And then you want to put your tensioner pulley on, that bolt is 30 foot-pounds. Next, get your schematic out and put your serpentine belt on. Okay. All right, I got done with my water pump. Now I'm at a standstill because if you're anything like me, the radiator leaks too. So now we're gonna do a radiator. All right, so now I gotta do the radiator. Pretty much everything's the same, except I'm not going to the water pump. So now we're going to the radiator. So now the radiator, you gotta get it unbolted. It has 2 10s on the top. They go right here and over here. 2 10s like that. Remove those. Get your hoses off so you can move the radiator in like so you can get to the condenser. The condenser, you want to pull it up, get it out of the little notches. And on the passenger side, there's a screw holding it in down there, which is right there. See the tip of my finger? 8 millimeters, so you gotta remove that. There's actually 2 of them on the passenger side. One here and one down below. Okay, see the little notches? They go on these things. One here, there's one there. These 2 go in there. Then you can lift this side up out of the little notch. It goes on to that little piece right there. So now it's completely separated. Now you can pull the radiator straight out. You can get your new radiator and weasel it down in there and put it in the mount holes. Okay, and then you can, remember, fish this side in first, and then line up your 2 screws on the passenger side, and then tighten them up. Okay, the radiator's got 2 of those little hooks, one down the bottom and one right up here. Didn't really see the one on the bottom until you get the radiator out and look at it. All right, it's kind of hard to line them both up at the same time, but what I did was I held the condenser onto the little ledge where the screw goes. There's a little ledge. I held it on there with the line. Held it on with the line, held it up on there. Got my left hand, and got my right hand over here and lined them all up. The 2 little notches. The bottom notch wasn't too big of a deal, but the top notch was real tight. So I took a little long skinny screwdriver. I stuck it inside there and I opened up that notch up just a little bit. And I pushed the condenser in it, and I got them lined up. And then I was still holding the condenser tight up against on top of that little ledge. And I put my screw in there, and I tightened it up with my ratchet. And then I can get to my bottom one a little bit more tighter. I put some tape around my screw under my socket with my little ratchet, and I got it in there. So now it's all set. Now what I gotta do is bolt up my radiator with my 2 10 millimeter long bolts. Okay, I got my 2 10s in. Now it's time to put my hoses back on. Okay, now it's time to put your fan shroud in. Feed it in there through the sides. Careful with the hose and the neck. Try not to scratch anything. Also, it's got to go into the notches down below that are in the radiator. This side's a little bit different because it's the same with the notch, but then you got to lift up on the, you got to pull out the trans cooler lines, lift them out, so that little notch thing down there where the screw goes into for the holder for the trans lines doesn't hit them. So you reach your hand down through here to get to them and lift them out, and then it allows the shroud to drop into this one's notch. And now you can line them all up and put your screws in to hold your shroud on. And those are the 8mm head screws for the fan shroud, just 2 of them. Now you got an 8mm screw that goes on your trans cooler line bracket that goes into the shroud down here, remember? We were just talking about it. Next, find your fan shroud connector, go underneath the line, stick it up through there, and make sure you look at it, and make sure you hear it click in. And then give it a little pull to make sure it doesn't pull off. Time for your washer bottle coolant reservoir tank. Make sure your little clips are in there. Make sure they didn't fall out. And put your hoses on for your washers. And then feed this down in there. Okay, you got this placed in there. You got your 2 hoses for your washers and your connector connected. Start your little T25 screws that are down below. They're below here, right here. Right there, you can't really see them. One there. And remember, there's one over here. It's under here. You gotta get to this one with a longer 6-inch extension, and then that one with a 3-inch extension. And put your 2 screws that are on the top. Get those in there. Got that done, and now you can hook up your horn. Put your horn back up in there. You got 1 screw left, and that goes for your horn. Put your horn, fasten that up to the core support. The horn is done. Now it's time for my air filter box. Remember to lube those grommets so your little nipples can go into them, into the fender skirt. Okay, you got the grommets in, you got some lube on them. Now you can put the air filter box in there. Line them up and push them straight down. Okay. Got the lower box in, lined up. Got this in, pushed in, goes into a little clip on the side. Just line up the grommets with the little tits and push it straight on there, and just pushes right on there real easy. Put the filter in, put your cover on, hook up your breather tube. Make sure you hook up your antifreeze overflow. Now we're gonna come over here and put the battery in. All right, we got the battery in. Put your hold down on, tighten that up. Connect your positive first, negative last. And you wanna come over here and you wanna fill it up with some coolant. Start it up, let it run a little bit, shut it off. Come over here to just plug the Allen. Remove the Allen. And it's like an air bleed. You'll get some air out and then you'll start getting coolant. When you get coolant out, put the plug back in and tighten it up. And come back over here and top off your funnel or your radiator. Then let it run for a while. Let it get hot. Shut it off. Top off your fluid. And then start it up, let it run again. And then when your fluid level stabilizes, is when you can put your radiator cap on. Take it for a little ride. See if it gets up to operating temperature. Shut it down, let it cool off. And then double check your fluid in your radiator. By squeezing the upper hose, make sure it's not under pressure. You can slowly remove your cap. And once you're all set with your coolant level and all that, and you're all done, that's it. If I helped you out with this video, that's awesome. If you could help me out by subscribing, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.